Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my guest is composer Carolyn Miller. Her book on the new Federation Festivals list is Dreams and Imagination. Welcome, Carolyn. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to talk about your piece on the new festivals list, Floating on Cloud 9. What a cool piece this is. Instantly accessible, very melodic, super beautiful. It has this great pop sound, and it has achieved the holy grail of educational piano music. It sounds harder than it is, but it's just so much fun to play. Talk to us a little bit about Floating on Cloud 9.
Well, Floating on Cloud 9 is just a very melodic piece, and if you study it, when I wrote this, the big thing was 1, 6, 4, 5, and you would see that the chord structure in the first line is simply 1, 6, 4, 5, fits very well. I tried to write it so that it fits well under the hands. It's easy to play. It moves to different octaves, so you're using the piano in different parts. And then the chords in the B section are just a little different. To me, it sounds a little more modern when you go from C to B flat and back. And then a lot of my music is ABA. And when the A section comes back, you notice on the second page, you notice that it moves in 3 different octaves. So it's the same thing, but your hand is moving. So it sounds pretty. It's easy to play. And this one, I really do love the ending. You know, going from the C to the B flat to the A flat, and then ending with the C major chord. I just really think the ending is the prettiest part of this one.
It's a gorgeous piece. I really loved when you returned to the final A section that you placed the student in one of the higher octaves. Talk to us a little bit about how you help students to achieve that delicate but yet even tone when they're playing in that highest register.
Well, as far as their tone in that, I do a lot of singing. I don't have a very good voice, but I have found I can still remember Madame Conus at CCM singing from across the room, and she was a heavy-set Russian lady. And when she would go, you know, I think, boy, I'm feeling this. This is how she wants me to play it. And I have found that it really helps my students just to either make up a visual picture or to sing. And so if you want them to play really light in that area, in the upper area, you know, think of a word or a bird or a floating, whatever. Think of something that they would recognize based on the age of the student, what means something to them, and then play it from there, you know, and then you can try it like a lion and see what it sounds like. You know, or what would it be like if it was a bird or a squirrel, you know? And I think then they hear the difference. I think hearing it's one thing to do it, but then you could even, in today's world, you can record it and play it and let them hear what it sounds like. I find a lot of times students don't really listen when they're playing. You know, and listening is really important to make any kind of beautiful music.
I love those suggestions to draw visual imagery into the performance of the work and to really become an active listener as students are playing this piece. What fantastic advice.
And you know, another thing that I found really helps is the waving of the arm. Sometimes I used to wonder, I'm teaching in front of a picture window, and sometimes I'd be standing there and the arm would be going like this, you know, and I think, what do people think I'm doing, you know, in front of this window? But it was amazing when the movement, they can see you out of the side of their peripheral vision. And it's amazing, you know, and I have one lady that I'm working with, and it's funny, when she's playing, I can just do this over to the side, and she realizes what I want her to do. So I think the movement, you need to engross them in what they're doing.
That's fantastic advice. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about Floating on Cloud 9?
Just enjoy it. And I know some students maybe won't play it quite as fast as this, and it can be slowed down. And as I play it now, after it's already been published, there are a couple places that I sometimes take a tiny retard. And so I think students should not be afraid to add a tiny retard here and there to make it flow. And it's kind of like like at measure 16, I put a tiny little retard in there, not a big one. And if I wrote retard, somebody might just slow it way down, but just a rubato, a little rubato would work well.
Excellent suggestion. My guest today has been composer Carolyn Miller. Her piece is Floating on Cloud 9 from her book, Dreams and Imaginations. You can find it at high-quality music retailers near you. Thank you so much for being here today, Carolyn.
Thank you so much.